If not from overseas, can we move to Division 23? Is anybody from Division 23? Can they open their mic and identify their delegation?
Good evening.
Good
I
evening.
am President Suzette from the Kiwanis Club of Longville Park, Clarendon. Happy to be here with you. Looking forward to the guest speaker's presentation. And thank you for the invitation.
You're most welcome. Is there anybody else in your delegation, President Suzette?
Not as yet. I'm hoping some more persons will join, but they are not on as yet.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, most welcome. Anybody
Hi,
else?
good evening. Good
Ah,
evening, P.
yes.
Stephen. This is
Yes.
IPLG Pauline
Oh,
from Kiwanis Club of South St. Catherine. I'm very happy to be here. Looking forward to the presentation. This evening, there are currently 4 of us online. More will be joining. So thank you so much for this opportunity to join you.
Okay, thank you very much. As I said, you're always welcome. Kiwanis Club of Kingston has an open arms policy, and we appreciate you and your club's participation in our meeting. Anybody else from Division 23?
Good evening, everyone.
Hello.
This is DP Audrey from the Kiwanis Club, the Sunshine City, Portmore. I am here with LGE Janet, and I know others will be coming. We are so happy to be here. Can't wait to hear the guest speaker again. Thank you.
Thank you. You're most welcome. Anybody else from Division 23?
Division 23 Central.
Yes, go ahead.
This is President Joan.
President Joan.
From Nation Builders Kingston. I am alone at the moment, but I do have a prospect who's on, Nakisha. Thank you for the invite, President Newton, and I look forward to a wonderful session with you all.
Okay, thank you again for your attendance. I also see Kiwanis Club of Capital City Kingston. I recognize Kiwanian Andrea, and I understand others are going to be joining. The microphone is still open for
Stephen, how are you doing?
Hi, President RDC.
Okay, great. Well, at this time, well, as you know, I'm from the Kiwanis Club of 23 Central Story Online.
Yes.
And at this time, I am alone. I'm scanning the landscape, but I'm just not picking up everyone else.
Okay.
But I'm pretty sure others will join.
I'm pretty sure also.
Yes, so thank you so much, and I do appreciate this invite, and I look forward to this spirited meeting. Thank you.
Yes, I'm sure it will be informative, and Dr. Semaj always has something valuable to share with us.
Yes, I look forward to it. Thanks.
Anybody else from Division 23? I didn't divide it into East, West, and Central, so it's an open call for anybody from Division 23.
Hello, it's me again. I'm sorry. I did not see my DA Oden. So DA, welcome to the meeting also from Kiwanis Club Sunshine City, Portmore.
Okay, welcome also Portmore. Kiwanis Club Sunshine City, is it?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes, it is.
all right. Let me move
P.E. Stephen?
I'm hearing you, yes.
Yes, this is DP Rose from the Kiwanis Club of West St. Andrew. We have now 7 on. So we're in the house.
A big
Strong.
delegation, yes. Thank you, West St. Andrew. We see you loud and clear. And thank you for all of your members who are attending. I also see DP Wendy, Kiwanis Club of, forgive me, BN. DP Wendy can, Kiwanis Club of BN is that, building.
Barbados North, Barbados North.
Barbados North?
Yes, please.
Okay, there you go. You see, I'm getting slowly up to speed with all the various Kiwanis clubs and their acronyms. Division 24. If there's nobody else from 23, I'm going to move to
Sorry,
Division 24.
good afternoon. I'm
Okay.
from Division 23 East.
Okay. Go ahead.
Prospective member here. Prospective
Yes.
member Tamika Godmighty. I'm not sure if anyone else is on. I'm from the club of Cyber Connect. Not sure if anyone else is on from that club, but I'm looking forward to an interesting meeting.
Okay, Tamika, thank you.
Good evening, Stephen.
I'm seeing Kiwan is Club of North St. Andrew. Kenton, you can go ahead and then record.
Good evening, peace. Good evening, fellow Kiwanians. I bring you warm greetings from the brothers of the Kiwanis Club of North St. Andrew. So far, we're 2 in number. Looking forward to others join us. We're expecting a wonderful and informative meeting. Thanks for having us on board.
You're most welcome.
Good evening, fellow Kiwanians. Ricardo Robinson here from Kiwanis Club of St. Thomas. I'm not sure who else is on from my club, but I'm looking forward to a productive meeting. Thank you.
Okay. Welcome, St. Thomas, and the others who hopefully will join you later on, Ricardo.
Yes, hopefully.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. I was at 23 and 24. Kiwanians from any of those divisions. Microphone is still open for you to send your acknowledge your presence.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Carleen Henry, Kiwanis Club of New Kingston. We are 10 in numbers and counting. Looking forward to an exciting and vibrant meeting.
Thank you. Thank you, Kiwan and Carleen.
Peace, Steve. There are actually 4 members from North St. Andrew on board.
4 members from North St. Andrew.
That's correct.
Okay,
Yes.
good.
Thank you.
So New Kingston currently has the record at 10, but I'm sure that and West St. Andrew also has 10. So
good evening. This is President Clover from Kiwanis Club of Capital City. And we now have 4 members online and waiting on others to join, and I'll keep you updated as we go along. Thanks for having us at your wonderful meeting.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for your attendance. And as the members join, you can always add it to the chat as we go along. Division 24, Division 25. Anybody from Division 25?
Good evening, PE Stephen. This is Crystal Heaven from the Kiwanis Club of Montego Bay. Currently, we have over 5 members, and we're looking forward to a productive meeting. I'll be listening because I'm about to go in a treatment now. So I'll be online though.
All right.
Thank
okay.
you.
Sure.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Interested
From
here.
Montego Bay. I'm hearing a voice. Anybody else from Division 25 or 24?
Good evening, PE Stephen.
Good evening.
This is Past President Nadine of the Kiwanis Club of Hopewell. I'm flying solo at the moment, but I know that others will join.
I'm here. President
Oh,
is
hi.
here.
All right, President is here. Awesome.
President
Nicolette is on.
Yes.
And others will join shortly, and we'll update same in the chat. Looking forward to a wonderful evening. Blessings and thanks for the
Club of Hopewell, right?
Hopewell, Hanover. Correct.
Hanover, yes. Beautiful place.
Thank you.
All right, 24, 25. If not, is there any SLP members that we have joining us for this evening? I know we're talking about retirement, and that might be well ahead of the SLPs, but knowledge is power. So if you have some of this knowledge about retirement from your young, if I had half of the knowledge that I do now, it would make your retirement planning much bigger. LGJ, Justin, I see you. You can.
Hello, good evening, everyone. I am Lieutenant Governor J. Justin Rose, and with me, I am not alone, thankfully. Yeah. I have the vice president of the St. George's College Key Club, and with me, I have 2 clubbers from Donham Park Technical High School, along with my faculty advisor. I am wishing you all a great meeting and hoping for great interactions. Thank you.
Thank you, LG Justin. Glad to have you here, as usual, and with company this time. SLPs, or if there's any guests, any non-Kiwanians or guests of Kiwanians who are here with us, again, I open it up if you can just identify yourself so we're aware of your presence.
But please, Stephen.
I can't hear you, DP Stewart. Go again, please.
I just wanted to know if you're hearing me.
Yes, we can.
You're
Okay.
breaking up.
Okay.
Yeah, we can hear you, but you're breaking up somewhat.
No, I had two guests online. I just wanted to welcome them.
Sure.
One is Eleanor Lindsay from overseas in the States. And I'm glad she was able to join. And there's also Janet McPherson. So welcome. I hope you enjoy the evening with us. Back to you, Stephen.
Sure, Ellen and Janet, welcome to the Kiwanis Club of Kingston, and you're always free to come back at the same time, same place when we have the Zoom meetings. We always have interesting meetings, courtesy of our DP Stewart and the team. If there's no other persons going once, going twice, I'm going to pass the microphone or the microphone back to President Newton to continue our meeting, and looking forward to our guest presentation later on. Back to you.
Thank you, P. Stephen. As efficient and interactive as ever. Even this section of our meeting is picking up pace. Really want to publicly say that I like the way you do it. All right. Just before we move on, just three observations that I want to make from the welcome and introduction. President Roy, I just want to remind you, sir, that once you are a member of the Kiwanis Club of Kingston, we will allow you to roam. But there's no such thing as a former member of the Kiwanis Club of Kingston. Once you have joined, we have you for life. And I also want to remind President Eurydice that never are you ever alone when you are with the Kiwanis Club of Kingston. You may be flying solo, as has been said, but you are never alone. And the last observation I want to make from what just passed was Prospect Tamika from Cyber Connect. I mean, you're a prospect and you're represented like a Kiwanian this evening. So I must say kudos to you on that. Moving now to apologies for absences.
Got everything open today. I am our family special chef.
Okay, I think that was not for us. I know Vice President Garfield is not with us this evening because he's still in recovery mode. Do you know of anyone else, DLG Willie, who has tendered an apology?
Yes, Lieutenant Governor Desmond Batchelor has extended his apology. His wife is ill, so he has the responsibility of looking after her.
Okay, well, thank you. We wish Yvette a speedy recovery. Any other?
Up to the best of my knowledge.
Okay, well then we will just move quickly back to President-elect Stephen for recognition of birthdays and anniversaries. But before I hand back to P. Stephen, I'm going to ask, just for efficiency and so that we can give Dr. Semaj maximum time for us to listen to him, I'm going to ask those, unless you are making a presentation or saying something, just keep your microphone closed so that it doesn't disrupt. P. Stephen.
Thank you, President Newton. Quickly, I'm going to just go through the birthdays and anniversaries for Kiwanians, and also if there's anybody else celebrating a special occasion, they can take the opportunity to advise us. So for the week of November 15th through November 21st, we're going to have, I'm going to indicate those Kiwanians who are celebrating special occasions. So first of all, we have Beverly, who is the wife of DP Marcel Boyce. She celebrates her birthday on the 19th of November. So happy birthday to you, Beverly, when that comes around. And also Kiwanian Derek Johnson on the 21st. He has his birthday. I don't think I see Kiwanian Derek on the meeting, but you can extend to him birthday greetings when you do see him. And then in terms of wedding anniversaries, DP Everett Palmer and his wife Colleen, they celebrate their wedding anniversary on the 21st also, the 21st of November. So happy anniversary to them when that comes around. And that's the extent of my list of birthdays and anniversaries for Kiwanians of Kiwanis Club of Kingston. But I see we have a lot of people online, almost 100 persons. I'm sure somebody is celebrating a birthday or a wedding anniversary this week. Can you share it with us so that we can at least note it and be part of the celebration, so to speak? No birthdays? Fun fact, the month that has the least amount of birthdays by a survey is the month of February. And the month that has the most birthdays, people celebrating birthdays, is September. So if you're in February, you're unique because very few people have birthdays in February. And if you're in September, you're part of the posse. A lot of people are born in September. As I explained before, September has something to do with Christmas celebrations and Christmas babies. Do the maths and you'll work it out. So with that, President Newton, back to you. No more birthdays or anniversaries for this week. And I'll see you. I'm looking forward to the presentation.
Thank you, P. Stephen. And I just want to state for the record, I was not born in September.
Yeah, there you go.
All right. All right, we're moving on to Kiwanis education, which will be done first by DLG Leahcim.
Thank you, President. For Kiwanis education, I'm going to turn our attention to engaging and retaining members. As we are aware, new members need to feel valued and appreciated from day one. It's best to begin new member orientation before a prospective member joins, so they understand the vision of the club and the responsibilities of membership. But it needs to be completed within 2 weeks after joining. Orientation is an opportunity to help new members understand your Kiwanis club, and it's a way for your club to learn about their interests and skills. To this end, an orientation guide is available to download at kiwanis.org/new member orientation. It is on mentoring. By pairing new members with mentors, you're getting a go-to person for any questions and a familiar face to sit with at meetings until they feel comfortable interacting with everyone. Their mentors may be their sponsors or someone they just met. Mentors can help new members connect their interests with club activities. To depend on new member involvement, once a new member is ready, it's time to get that person involved. Show them they're needed. Assigning new members to committees can help engage their talents and interests. And by giving them a simple task connected to a meeting or project, they'll immediately feel like part of the team. Expand their Kiwanis networking connection. Consider taking a new member to visit a nearby club meeting or participate in their service project. Invite them to attend a divisional council meeting so they can meet more Kiwanians in the area. Make them feel comfortable so they are more likely to attend a district or international convention. Ask for their feedback. After new members are inducted, consider asking some of them to meet casually with board members. A new person's input can provide a different perspective. Some of the feedback you can try and get is, what has the club done to make you feel welcome? What made you decide to join the Kiwanis Club? Was there anything that someone said or showed you that made you feel good about joining? What are you most excited about doing with your club? What are the ways in which you are passionate about serving your community? Existing members. Kiwanis clubs often lose people who don't feel engaged in club activities. Make an effort to find out why and to re-engage them. Review the club roster to identify members who have become inactive. Assign club members to contact missing members. Contact members by phone or with a personal visit to tell them what's happening and invite them to the next meeting. Conduct a fun evening to celebrate club members and accomplishments. Sometimes you can feel a lack of energy when you walk into a room. If this describes your club, it's time to find out why. Start by surveying your members with measuring member satisfaction. This is a simple way to give members a voice and to give club leaders the information they need to make meaningful change. In closing, let me leave you fellow Kiwanians a tip. If a member hasn't paid their dues, participated in a service project, or attended a meeting during the first quarter, you need to find a way to get them re-engaged. Thank you. Over to you, President Newton.
Thank you, DLG Willie. And you know, they say confession is good for the soul. So let me make a confession tonight in front of all 108 persons who are online. I have so much respect and admiration for tonight's guest speaker that I would have loved to have been the one either doing the introduction or the vote of thanks, but DP Stewart would not allow that because he's a man who follows protocol. So at this point, I'm going to pass it on to Kiwanian Wentworth Prendergast to do the introduction of tonight's guest speaker.
Good evening, everyone. I am so happy, excited to be here with you, illustrious person. And I must also have a confession to make. Not necessarily something wrong or bad, but the first time I hear of Michael James, it was on Profile. Yes, Profile. And I usually watch Profile assiduously every Sunday. And when he came on, I remember he's saying that he changes his name from Michael James to Leahcim Semaj. And I wonder why. I hope he will tell us why. But however, his credentials doesn't start here, but I guess from the man of East, from Kingston College, his foundation, he is well aware, well informed, and he describes himself as a quantum transformational psychologist. He has expertise. He has spoken to persons across many industries, from energy, hospitality, finance, gaming, telecommunications, security, agriculture, mining, pharmaceutical, shipping, distribution, manufacturing, education, and government. For this quantum transformation psychologist, he has a postdoctorate degree in educational testing service from Princeton, New Jersey. He has a PhD and a master's degree from Rutgers University. He has a BA in City College of London. And as usual, his foundation lies from Kingston College, where they say the brave may fall, but never yield. Dr. Leahcim Semaj knew he had a special gift for sharing information when he won the Distinguished Teachers Award from Cornell University in his first year on the faculty. He creates an participatory environment that keeps culturally diverse audience fully engaged as he demystifies complex concepts that impact people's lives. Attendees routinely reminds him of what he said in a presentation many years ago that impact their life in a sustainable manner. He combines ancient wisdom with scientifically based principles to bring fresh insight to all human to the human problems. One of those insights that I have personally all with me is that when he is interviewed some time ago, he said, pick your struggle, whether you're going to be employed or self-employed. So these are saying that he still gives out, and that is one of them that I hold dear. I am looking forward to expertise, advice in this critical field and time of life in which I am duly qualified to say I am willing and ready to be motivated by this, should I say, special person. And I hasten to say with pleasure, Leahcim Semaj, PhD, I welcome you to the podium.
Thank you all very much. Quite a welcome there. Do I have permission to share my screen?
Yes, sir.
Who's in charge of technology? All right, let me see.
I made you a co-host.
Okay, let me, all right, let me.
We're good to go.
All right, are you seeing my screen?
Not yet.
There are.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's on now.
Ooh. Okay. So I'm visible now, and you hear me all right?
Yes, we are.
Yes, we are.
Really, just listening to the opening of the meeting, I was really impressed. You know, I felt so comfortable. You know, the range, my people. You know, oftentimes when you speak in boardrooms and to C-suites and abroad, it's not often you get to speak to your people. You know, just a broad context, and it was a wonderful feeling. And just witnessing the byproduct, one of the positive byproducts of COVID, huh? That now meetings can be opened up. We can use Zoom, Team, whatever it is we want to use, and really get a much broader spectrum. All right, tonight we're going to rethink the whole concept of retirement, all right? Rethinking it. And I'm prefacing it with the title of my new book, The Best Is Yet to Come, Thriving in Retirement. Now, how do we do this? For the last 30 or so years, you know, I do a lot of work with a variety of companies. And I'm there helping the company through a lot of things. When someone
Sorry, Dr. Semaj. Errol Bean, could you please mute? Errol Bean, thank you. Go ahead, Dr. Semaj.
Yes. When someone's approaching retirement, oftentimes they ask me to do a one session. But I say, you can't take one session to prepare someone for retirement. Then a number of companies have been a little more, you know, forethought. People who are like within 5 years or 10 years, we do a session, you know, a 1 day or a 2 day session. But even there, the most common question I get asked in those contexts, how come nobody told us these things 10 years ago, 20 years ago? So that was the impetus for me to pull all this information together in the book that I published, which is available on Amazon. It's available in Kingston and in Montego Bay also. I'll tell you where later on. But it's critical information, all right? What if I reveal that retirement can be a time of incredible growth, joy, and purpose? Something very, very special, because I'm not so sure people have been looking at this from another perspective. So I want to welcome you to The Best Is Yet to Come, my guide for how we thrive in retirement by rethinking it completely, and for good reason. Now, the world sees old age in a very strange way, huh? All negative connotation, from elderly to antiquated, from antique to shot, from worn to getting on, moth-eaten, over the hill, passé, senior citizen. Listen, me not in it, you don't know, right? I refuse to use any of these terms to define myself. So I take a totally different view. I'll tell you the only context, I'm 72. Only context I'll accept senior citizen definition is when I go to the bank or I go to the tax office. You get a little blah, yeah? Outside of that, I'm the medium I talk to, all right? Now, my first question, those of you who are already retired, those of you who are looking forward to it, which is your retirement? Which is the model that you're seeing? On one hand, there's this model, this life of luxury, playing golf and holidays all over the world and doing all kinds of wonderful things. I want to explain to you that that's the least likely outcome for anybody in Jamaica, in the US, anywhere. Less than probably 1/10 of 1% of person would ever be able to retire in this thing called luxury. The other extreme, the 4 horsemen of retirement: loneliness, poverty, ill health, addiction, a life of misery. That represents the other extreme. So in between the fantasy of luxury and the fear of misery, I think lies most people. Huh? My position is that more people are destined to retire in material or psychosocial poverty because of lack of a realistic preparation for what retirement now is. More people will be drifting towards the misery side, but I do believe there's a wonderful sweet spot in the middle that we can all aspire for, and we can make it happen. Why do I say this? Now, when you talk about retirement, the dominant thing people talk about is financial planning, financial strategy. All good and well, but there's a major mistake with this. Forgive me if there's anybody on the platform who work for another organization and do financial plan for retirement. My analysis says the only people who are guaranteed to benefit from retirement financial planning are the financial planners, because they make money off everybody. But think about Jamaica as a country where most people can barely live hand to mouth while they're working hard and living. No matter how much you put away. What is missing is what I call the anchor leg strategy of retirement, the social and emotional well-being component. That is the one that is not being talked about, and that's the one that's going to save all of us. Now, why do I say that? As I say, I don't do old age, so I take a totally different perspective to this process. So how do we navigate the space from, say, 60 and beyond? Huh? I'd like to announce the end of retirement as we knew it. Now, retirement is back to Germany. Bismarck created the concept of retirement in Germany. The first social security system, 1889, was set in Germany, initially set at age 70, lowered to 65 by 1916. But look at this carefully here. At this time, only 3% of the population had a chance of living beyond 65. Retirement set at 65, but only 3% of the population would ever possibly even get a chance to get anything out of it. Now, the reality is that life expectancy then was about 45 years. The average person died by 45, between 45 and 48. So it was a wonderful concept, but it meant nothing to most people. So if we were using that same rule today, we'd have to set retirement at 95, because it was set way beyond what the average person life expectancy was. In 1900, 4% of persons reached 65. Today, 17% of people reach 65, and the number is growing. It's a very different time and space. By 2030, the United States, for the first time, will have more people 65 and over than children. 1 in 6 people in the world will be age 60 and older. The number of people age 75 and older is the most significantly growing component of the labor market. Over 90% of persons 75 and over, that will be making up part of the labor market. it's a totally different picture taking place. The old rules no longer apply, but many people just haven't become aware of them. So what we're talking about? The United States adopted the concept of retirement and Social Security in 1935. All right? They set it at 65, as Germany set it. Then the average life expectancy was 61. So you're still seeing an interesting gap here where 61 was the average life expectancy. It wasn't intended to work even back then. Today, life expectancy is now touching 80. The mechanisms that we talked about for retirement are no longer valid. What do the experts say? You should have 8 times your pre-retirement annual salary saved in order for you to retire at 65 and have a reasonable quality of life. How many people can possibly even come close to doing that? We also look at the value of a dollar. Yes, if you were to start saving at 20, and whatever it is, you realize how much that would accumulate by age 65. But how many people are able to start saving at 20? But as you get further on, maybe by about 40, you start to take it serious. The advance in longevity are making supporting retirement for another 20 to 30 years impossible. From my guess, 90% of all workers will not be able to have any kind of decency in terms of financial retirement. The media bombards you with all these ads about these wonderful things can happen from retirement planning. The reality is that very few people will actually benefit from any such thing. The numbers are there. But on the other hand, there's growing evidence of this radical new science of longevity. People are able to live longer and healthier and well. So we have to start looking at things quite differently. The whole idea of life 20 and 30 years beyond retirement is now possible for 90% of people. The reality, folks, there's a good chance you will be living 20 to 30 years after you retire. How are you going to cope with that? The research shows us that healthy retirees who work a year longer than the average of 65 had an 11% lower all-cause mortality risk. In contrast, many years ago, I was at a company talking about retirement, and I was showing the figures that there's a blip in the mortality figures 2 years after retirement. A lot of people die 2 years after retirement. Why? They go through, after the wonderful holiday period ends, they go through a whole period of depression. Just think of it. Those of you who are retired, the most common event that you're going to is funeral. Every time your phone rings, guess who dead? Guess who not feel well? Guess who's sick? And after a while, you start getting depressed with it too. Every financial institution white paper that promotes retirement, they're missing a serious component, that continuation of life. The good news in all of this time, it's a wake-up call for us to look at retirement quite differently. We can create a model that works. At age 65, the average female can expect to live to 86. Males can expect to live to 83. That's what we're now seeing. How are we going to plan for and prepare for that? It's a challenge that we can meet, even though for many, the pension, as it is now structured, will never do. It can't do. How do Jamaicans cope with old age? Remember I talk about from one extreme to the other? It doesn't look good. There are cultural factors. The African worldview, how people, talk about the past is most important. But a lot of Jamaicans live in denial.
The name is familiar, but I'm trying to...
The Lord will provide. Many Jamaicans hand-to-mouth existence all the way through life. Then there are those who say, why? My children, my pension,
Listen. Who's that talking about, me or Heather?
May I suggest that you don't count on that? I see too many houses, beautiful houses all over Jamaica. The hills of Mandeville, you know, up in Norbrook, and 2 people in the house playing hide and seek. From the children go away to school, they come back once every 2 years. And when they come to Jamaica, they want to go to North Coast. They don't want to come to the house. Many Jamaicans have had very bad experience with insurance agents. Take your money and make you all kind of promises, and when time comes, there's some women who believe that hotness is forever. Huh? And I've heard it referred to as pension, a kind of specific pension that you can accumulate by virtue of certain anatomical capabilities. Then there are also some men that deposit in Harry Bank, and they figure that, but that doesn't really provide much returns. Then some men, they go through life as parasites, and then they become predators later on. The coping systems are strange. Jamaica needs to develop an appropriate response in terms of what we're looking at now. In 1996, the rate of population growth had fallen to 1%. By 2016, it is 0.01%. Our birth rate is declining. So depending on the children to carry it forward, no, that's not happening. But Jamaicans are living longer. The total population has increased by only 8%. But the number of people 65 and over has risen by 41%. So we're seeing the Jamaican population is getting older with a lot of people. How are we going to care for them? How are they going to care for themselves? Life expectancy in Jamaica is now 76.2 years. It's above the global average. The improvement in medicine, health awareness, and public health services, more people are living longer. How are we going to pay for this? Huh? In the next 30 years, the number of people 65 and older will surpass the number of people under 15 in Jamaica. The percent of those 80 years will increase from 2% to 7%. Do you understand what this means, folks? There are a number of people who have their microphones open. What's the impact on the pension system? Chief among them, the fact that increased number of elder will put serious pressure on pension scheme, health services, and welfare programs. We have to start rethink these things completely. There's presently 360 active private pension plans in Jamaica. Okay, yes, we have things. Privately managed pension funds, as of July this year, have over $713 billion. But guess what? About 10% of the employed labor force are covered. So that means 90% of our labor force are not covered by a pension plan. If we add the government pension, that would take us to about 20% of the employed labor force. That means 80% of the labor force of Jamaica have no such thing as a pension plan. We have some problems, folks. Employees and employers contribute to the NIS. The NIS is incredible, but I would love someone to give me a task to revamp and rethink the NIS. There's lots of ways we can redo that. The main problem with the NIS, it tops out at 1.5 million. That's the highest you're asked to contribute from. So if you earn a salary of over 1.5 million, there's no contribution that goes from that. Yes, self-employed people can contribute $200 a week, but there's a lot more creative things we can do. Aging in Jamaica, 23% of elderly were receiving assistance under the PATH program. 77 had neither private insurance nor the NI Gold coverage. Listen, folks, the NI Gold is an incredible, wonderful program. But if you never contribute to NIS, you don't have that coming to you at all. 72% suffering one or more chronic illness. 15% disabled mainly from blindness and stroke. 75% dependent on some form of medication. The National Health Fund is doing a wonderful job to help with these things, but we need some serious. There's rough waters ahead. How do we prepare for the fiscal implication of these developments, collectively as a nation and individually, every single one of us. The first thing I do, folks, I start revamping. Let's look at life. 4 legs of life. Your childhood, your education, your work and family, and what I call the anchor leg. Let us rethink this simply and look at it completely. Just like the 4-100, the first leg, that's where you get started. Huh? The second leg, your education and training. The third leg, building your career and your family, the anchor leg. You secure your legacy. This is what I bring to this table now to show you. Let us look at it from a different perspective. Get that first leg solid, because it's the basis on which we build everything. But guess what? Jamaica has a serious family problem. Serious family problem. In the introduction, I was introduced in terms of KC, but the foundation I got at Central Branch Primary School, it set it. I got a government scholarship from Central Branch Primary School that set my first leg. The second leg, you complete your education, you build your career, you start to earn a living. Solid. How many people have seriously making sure that they get the most out of this phase? Listen, folks, the single most important economic and mental health decision you'll ever make is the person you marry. I'd love to discuss that later on in the discussion here. So coming out of the second leg is critical. The third leg, you build your family and your career. Adulting. The anchor leg, you secure your legacy. So you understand this is what we're talking about. Many are not prepared for the anchor leg. They either gradually or rapidly started to fade away. Just think of the anchor leg. That's the strongest leg. It doesn't have to be that way. The challenges experienced in the anchor leg are rooted in the conflicts of, Leahcim talked about it, in the earlier stage of life. So it's very important that we take a look. So what I do when I do retirement counseling, consultations with individuals, I help them, first of all, we go back through the legs with you. Do you have unresolved conflicts from earlier stages in your life? Are you carrying baggage that you need to release so you can move on with your life? Huh? How are you now? Physically, mentally, emotionally, socially, financially? How are you doing? And we ask critical questions. How do you perceive aging? How do you deal with change? What's your passion? Are you financially comfortable? What is your encore career? What are you going to do later on? How are you going to live for the rest of your life? Retirement, we now understand it. It has 4 phases to it. The first phase is the vacation phase. I mentioned it to you before. Relaxing, get up when you want to. Huh? No routine, but ultimately you start to feel bored, all right? Phase 2, this is the phase of loss. No routine in your life, no sense of identity, loss of relationship, because oftentimes your work was a big part of your identity. Your loss of a sense of purpose, loss of power. A client of mine recently, was a very interesting case study. He was a man who was a senior judge in another country, retired at full pay with excellent pension plan, money can't done. But 2 years after retirement, he was bordering on depression. I know he summed it up. So Dr. Semaj, for the last 30 years of my life, every time I enter a room, somebody says, all rise. Now I walk in the house, not even the dog pay me mind. He has no sense of identity because his whole life was built around work. So even though his money can't done, but he has no life. Then the other D's started kicking in phase 2, divorce, depression, and decline, physically and mentally. There's a significant increase in something called gray divorce. And most times, it's the woman filing for a divorce. Because look, she's 65 and she's still hot. And this old man no one go nowhere, no one do nothing. And So she died with him. So she said, listen, she wanted to live some life before she did. And so we see a significant increase. The most distressing thing when I see all these old men living alone. Then phase 3 is a time of trial and error for most people. You start to ask yourself, how can I make my life meaningful again? How can I contribute? What can I do? For some, it's too late at this point because they never really made any plans. Many are not prepared for this leg. So the anchor leg, they gradually or rapidly start failing up and falling apart. But I say we can do otherwise. These stages, as we look at them, we can see how we prepare, how we walk through them. How do you unleash an anchor leg strategy? How do you successfully execute the years 60 and beyond? How do you reinvent and rewire yourself? You start by re-identifying yourself. Do you understand the most productive age for us as human beings? Between 60 and 70 is the most productive age. Next is 70 and 80. Third, 50 to 60. The average Nobel Prize winner is 62. So this notion that old people don't have no value is a serious misnomer. I have been introducing a program to the corporate world for the last 10 years called the Tried and Proven, where I have get them to see that, listen, people who have been retired have a body of knowledge and skill that can draw on. They may not want to work 5 days a week or the entire day, but we can tap into that talent and get them through that anchor leg. The wisdom tradition tells us, Ruth, he shall be to you a restorer and a nourisher of your old age. In Job, it says, with age, men is wisdom, and in length of day, understanding. So we have to start to understand and look at this group, the elite club, 70 and over. And you can see how it pans out. Lower income countries, just 2% of persons make it to that elite club. Middle income country, 4.8%. No, Jamaica, 6% make it to the elite club of 70 and over. The United States, 11.3%. Italy tops it, 17.5%. That's the elite club. How do we aspire to get to that club? How do we expect to do well in this? These are the numbers, folks. If you're 70, these are what you can look forward to. If you're 75, these are the number of years you have left on your clock. If you're 80, these are the average number of years you have left on your clock. What you're going to do with that time? The most recent research tells us now we have replaced the word aging with the word longevity. That's what we're looking forward to. We're now describing earlier chapter in life. Let me the recent research is showing us now that the most important things that people are looking for in terms of the new aging, actively take care of your physical, mental, and emotional health. Build and nurture strong relationships. Maintain a clear sense of purpose. Be willing to course correct in terms of where you're going with life. Are you prepared for this? If we break it down, folks, exercise is the most powerful longevity drug if we are to make it into that elite club of 70 and over. Exercise has the greatest power to determine how and for how long you will live out the rest of your life. The data is overwhelming. Do you know what DBNF stands for? Brain-derived neurotrophic factor. It's a protein. It's found in the brain. It acts on neurons and the central nervous system. It's important for long-term memory. Changes in DBNF is associated with both normal and pathological aging. Exercise is one of the main things that enhances the expression of DBNF. It's required for normal development of several brain regions. It's the most incredible thing that just moderate exercise. The neuroplasticity, how you can improve your capabilities. This is what triggers it. Exercise, adequate sleep, nutrition, and reduction in your stress is what increases your BDNF. Again, a healthy diet, exercise increases BDNF, reduces inflammation and insulin sensitivity. On the other side, the basic diet, which is just void of nutrition as such, you understand what it triggers. Sedentary lifestyle. So that if we are to do one thing starting now, if we start moving and we start thinking, what it does, everything exercise triggers. What I do in the book, I talk about all the various functions, the mental, the social, the physical, the decline, what you do to overcome them, and the whole notion of just rethinking your perspective on how you see aging, how you see age. Number one thing is exercise. It impacts. We don't just talk about lifespan now, we talk about health span. So it's not just how long you live in a healthy manner. We start planning for that very early because look, you're going to be living and contributing and working because you have a lot to offer because you're 65 or 75 or 85. Once you take care of your body, you're good to go. Exercise is therapy. It's a personal re-engagement where mind and body talk to one another. Integral. So we're just not talking about this cardio, huh? Strength training. Once you reach age 30, you start to lose muscle mass, 3 to 8% per decade. Once you reach 60, that jumps up. Do you understand, folks, that falls are by far the leading cause of accidental death for people 65 and older? Not because you fall and drop dead, you know. But once you fall and you fracture a hip or a femur or so, you're dead within a year because the body decline now just sets in. Muscle mass prevents you from the likelihood of fall and increases the quality of life. As simple as that. Muscle is the most overlooked organ in the body. It's the largest organ in the body. It's what keeps the entire body. You realize how many people get so frail with age. They become skin and bone. Yes. Muscles know no age. If we're to start with one thing that we have, we don't have a fat problem, you know, folks. It's a muscle problem we have. Lack of muscle. I lift weights 3 days per week. Why? Sarcopenia, age-related muscle loss, can begin around age 35. But then the acceleration starts at 60. So unless you actively, think about it. Most people over 40 wear glasses because of how the eyes and the retina and the lens work differently. And so we use glasses to increase the efficiency. Why do we accept that the muscle loss that kicks in by age 30? Why do we accept it? We need to work against it because it's the number one thing that will have us living longer and healthier. The average adult who doesn't do regular strength training can expect to lose 4 to 6 pounds of muscle per decade. So you realize once you lose muscle, you know what makes it up? Fat. Now, this is what my Yes.
Yes, sir.
Important that we do deadlift.
Solid.
Body work.
5
Very
that
critical.
Yes.
Bench
Yes,
press.
sir.
Squats.
Solid.
Leg press.
5 that doc. And
Very
again,
important that
6 that doc.
keep the body.
7 strong.
You don't take care of the body. Where you gonna
Crazy.
live? Huh? This is what we talk about. The centenarian exercise essential. Zone 2 training. 45 minutes, 4 days per week. Just at a level that it's hard to hold a conversation. 1 day a week, VO2 max. Strength training, 3 days per week. Your retirement saving to reach old age with a reserve of muscle to protect you from injury and engage in activity, the kind of things that you love. This is the easiest part of the investment because it keeps mind and body alive and well and sharp. It's the least you can do. Now, Peter Attia talks about something called your centenarian decathlon. What's a centenarian decathlon? It's looking at a decathlon in the age when you're in your decline. I put mine at 90 as my last decade. So that's my target. So you start by what are the 10 most important physical tasks that you'll want to be able to do for the rest of your life? And you start training for them from now. My 10, off-road hike, carrying and lifting groceries, carrying my luggage. Listen, man, I came on a flight, the number of people in the airport who are in wheelchairs, not because they have to, but because they need to. The number of people who can't even put the luggage in the overall bin. Change a car tire. How many of you can change your car tire? Play 18 holes of golf, walking the course. For me, gym workout with my sons. My oldest son is 40, my youngest son is 27. When we go to the gym, they can't keep up with me. And I want to keep that position for as long as I live. Maintaining my own personal hygiene. I can bathe myself, groom myself, dress myself, use public transportation, being able to perform all self-care. And number 10, desirous of effective and enjoyable sexual activity for the rest of my life. I have set my target and I am training for these things. This is how we do it. My centenarian workout, bench press, 75% of my body weight, deadlift, farmer's carry, plank, push-ups, dead hang, free squat, plus I add other things. The best is yet to come, folks. We have a detailed workbook in this book, and it guides you through whatever stage you are now. Where do you stand now? How do you make the adjustment? What do you do to get there? Listen, let me just take a few minutes and show you some people who I admire, who have mastered the anchor leg of life. You know this man, Norman Lear, he's 100. Still writing and directing and producing. Wouldn't you like to do that? Tony Bennett passed recently, but he was working up to 95. Excellent performances, huh? Dr. Ruth, she's now 95. And she's now shifting her thing from sex therapy. She's now known as the ambassador of loneliness in New York. 95 and still going strong. Would you like to be like that? This man here started doing marathons at 53. He's now 92. And he has done over 52 marathons and still going strong. Clint Eastwood, 91, still making movies. Quincy Jones, 88, still making music. Ernestine Shepherd, 88, the world's oldest bodybuilder. No longer competes, but she still maintains the body. This gentleman is a hero of mine. At 79, he was invited to model and mash up the place. Since then, he's now 87. He's considered the hottest grandpa in China, modeling from China to Milan, Huh? So, folks, it is indeed possible. Tom Jones is now 83, still touring. Bob Dylan, 81, still on tour. Joni Mitchell, 79, still performing. Paul McCartney, 79, still performing. Mick Jagger, the Rolling Stones, he's 78 and they're still on tour. So it is indeed possible, folks. Grace Jones, she's 73, still making music and turning heads. This is on Diana Nyad. Netflix has a wonderful special on her in terms of her swim from Cuba. So it is indeed possible, folks. The best is yet to come. So I strongly suggest that you give this some thought. Are you going to go into this anchor leg of life gracefully? Are you going to it strong? Are you going to redefine retirement and make it work for you? Your psychological well-being, how you transition and adapt, how your cognitive and your physical changes. You take charge of these things, depending purely on what some financial planner says. If you put aside so much money every month, you can live happily the rest of your life. Not true. Self-awareness and reflection as you think about and you plan for the rest of your life. We provide you with practical strategies for how you can navigate the various stages based on where you are from now to make sure you make it all the way through to well-being and fulfillment for the rest of your life, the anchor leg. So we strongly believe it is indeed possible. And books are available at Brand Bookstore, both in Kingston and Montego Bay, and available online in Amazon. And I do believe, folks, you owe it to yourself. If you don't take care of your body, where you're going to live, and the best is yet to come. Thank you very much. Let's talk.
Thank you, Dr. Semaj.
Amen.
That was really amazing. We're gonna open it up to everybody who may want to ask a question. But I'd like, just one thing I'd like to kick off. What about those persons who have a health challenge now? I don't know if they can still go to the gym. They certainly can live what you live.
All right, no, let us not start with the the far end. But listen, there are many people have no health challenge, and they're doing nothing. Let's start with those, huh?
Okay.
And even if you have a health, look, people, I've seen people in wheelchair doing exercises. I've seen people who are able to. The question is, walking is the most important, is the simplest of exercise. And it's the most important and can be done. So yes, if people have health challenges, look, I pray for them and I whatever assist them, but let us talk about the larger number of people. If you have a health challenge going into retirement, folks, you're further handicapped. Just think about somebody in a race. You're going into the anchor leg, 20 yards behind the lead. So that's clearly it's very hard for you to finish the race. So so what I try to do, my doctor's appointment, men, Jamaican men especially, health-seeking behavior is poor. That's one of the reasons why breast cancer has a much higher survival rate than prostate cancer. Women self-examine regularly, and the least thing, one of my daughters' breast cancer was detected at stage 0 and dealt with immediately. For lots of men, by the time they detect prostate cancer, it's at stage 4 because they're afraid to go to the doctor. Gentlemen, don't worry about it. This rectal exam is important, is useful. Just one caveat. If it's a male doctor, make sure both of his hands are not on your shoulder. If both hands are on your shoulder, you have a little problem. Outside of that, you're good.
Good advice. Good advice. Okay, look. Okay, let's open up the floor. We're gonna ask you to use the device that allows you to put up your hand.
if I might chime in, here, I promote the director we call it prostate exam.
Digital
Yes.
rectal exam. Yeah.
Yes, and I can personally say I've done it several times, but I prefer when a female does it. And I don't have a problem with that one.
But it's a useful exam, it's a necessary exam.
Yes.
And by
yes.
the way, gentlemen, understand that with getting older, there's a good chance that you may die with an enlarged prostate, but not from an enlarged prostate. Big difference.
Yes, sure.
Oh, let me just say this, sorry. Some persons, okay, you might maybe on because you want to raise your hand. I'd suggest you raise your hand first, and then when you are called on, then you open your mic. I hear some sounds like a fan. Fans can make a sound, you know, that is disturbing. So, all right, who's first? I see, okay, President Newton, you have first privileges. Go ahead.
Thank you, DP Stu. Hi, Dr. Semaj. I have two things. My first one is a statement. Yeah, and the statement is that you have brought home the point, sir. I am going home tonight to start my exercise. You would not believe that my office is actually next door to a gym. So I see all the people going to the gym, I just don't go. So
yes.
But I can tell you as of tonight, I am on. The second question is really, where did you say your book is available?
Okay, well, first of all, Amazon. There's an audio book, there's a paperback, there's a digital Kindle, but it's also physically available at Brand's Bookstore in the Springs and Brand's Bookstore in Montego Bay.
Okay, sir. I assure you, Brands will be seeing me tomorrow. Thank you.
Okay, I don't see any more hands. I'm sure there are lots of things that people want to further clarify. Okay, Warren, VP Director Warren. Go ahead, Warren.
Yeah, I think Dr. Semaj mentioned that 6% of Jamaicans make it over, what, 65? I was wondering if there was a trend. Are we improving?
Oh, no, we're way beyond that now. That was in the earlier days. No, we're way beyond that now. Significant, I'm sure about 18% of Jamaicans make it past 65.
So we are improving then. Well,
yes, we are. But the problem is now that we're living longer than the money. You know?
Yes.
And then how are you going? And that's why you will, maybe somebody like you, Warren, you're probably in the 1% that, you know, that have your money can't done, right?
No, but I think you have the wrong Warren.
But for the rest of them, clearly, chances are they'll have to do other things. What's your encore career? What's your encore career? What else can you do from home? You have access to a telephone. You have access to a computer. What can you do 2 days a week?
To enhance the plus side. The
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Right. I'm happy to know we're improving, you know. That is a...
No, we are. I mean, the Jamaican, as you can see, the figures I show that we are better than some middle income countries in terms of our life expectancy, in terms of our longevity. Now, if I had it my way, one thing I would do, first of all, NIS is all most Jamaicans will have. Only 20% of Jamaicans outside of the government sector have any access to any kind of pension plan.
Right.
So that even though we have 383 pension programs in Jamaica, so that we need to raise the threshold for NIS and do a serious educational program behind it for people to understand, listen, this is your little much. You're going to get something back from it because there's nothing else put down for you.
Yes. Yes, planning is key, right?
But the best plan is a health plan. The best plan is go into retirement as physically fit as possible, with few disability as possible, because it gets harder with time.
Yeah. Right.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thanks, Warren. I don't see any more hands. Earlier in your presentation, you mentioned 4 things. And I'll tell you what 2 were, and I wanted to remember what the other 2 were. It was loneliness, poverty, and I don't remember what the other 2 were. It was in the early part. You're speaking about before you got to the 4 legs.
Oh, the 4 horsemen.
That's what you call them. Okay. In the big, loneliness,
poverty, and ill health and addiction.
Yes, addiction.
Addiction,
right.
because whether it's tobacco or alcohol, I mean, we don't have the more exotic addiction as such in Jamaica. But a lot of people, for me, one of the most frightening things, folks, I'm sure you have enough, reality, how many Jamaicans die alone? A man posted a video on Facebook about 2 weeks ago. And this is an older Rasta man. The man said, look, Jamaican, he mentioned how many people he know live alone. This man who took care of it, who repaired his truck, the man have 8 baby mother, all right? But yet still him live alone. And he had gone home, went in the house, and he fell down and hit his head. A day later, people didn't see him, went in and found him in a pool of blood. Now, one of the most painful things is to grow old by yourself. If circumstance have you living by yourself, make sure somebody has your key. Make sure you have a pact with somebody that if you don't call them by a certain time in the morning, they call you, they don't get you, come look for you. Living alone, old people living alone, anything can happen. I remember my wife's father saying that you can't send hot water through post office. Huh? You can't. I see somebody in the chat here saying that I bought my stationary bike and I use it at least once daily. I use weights for the upper body and strength. I just keep going at work. Don't physically tire easily. I'm just tired of the job. Yeah, we understand that. Time to change that job. But that's easy. Exercise bike, excellent for the cardio. But I do recommend some weights, if even just some 20 pounds or some 30 pounds. It is important. And too many people don't have the weight, body weight, push-ups, sit-ups, squats. That's the most important part because the muscles start to decline, you lose muscle mass, you become frail.
I see President Newton. You have your hand up. Go ahead, President.
Yes, I just wanted to ask another question, Doc. The audience that you're speaking to now, it's good that we hear it because it means that we can put the brakes on and try and do a reversal. But somehow I'm thinking that where this would do a whole lot of good is that it's for people to know this information before they need it. So like from people are in their 20s, that they're listening to a talk like this so that they don't go down the road where they have to try and reverse something in older age. How can we get this to be a part of the curriculum or out there?
You remember what I said earlier? It's the most common question I get asked over the years. How come nobody told us these things 10 years ago, 20 years ago? Well, look, I'm a firm believer in media. Look, do you understand we have 39 radio stations in Jamaica? But most of them are just used to do absolute damn foolishness. We have unlimited media options in Jamaica. Well, look, I have a podcast, and it's the same as the book, you know, the best is yet to come. And the podcast is there, and there are many people with podcasts. So first of all, if somebody wants information, they can seek it. But I do believe that we can use radio programs, especially, because radio can reach anywhere. Television programs, we need to have programs that have this kind of information to help people to understand. Because when I use the concept of the legs of life, I hope it makes sense to you that what you do in the first leg, in the second leg, what helped me to concretize this, one of my daughters, who's a Supreme Court judge now, on an interview, I heard her say that in your 20s and 30s, you must be grinding. Because if not, you're going to be in your 60s and 70s having to be grinding. She said when she was in her 20s and 30s, she had a full-time job in Brooklyn. She lived in the Bronx. She went to law school in Queens. She left home at 7 o'clock in the morning, didn't get back home until 10 o'clock at night. 2 buses and a train. But she did that because she knew what she wanted. Now she has it. The many of our people, I said, those who go through high school and go through college easy and so on, they pay for it the rest of their life. Put in the work. You see that the 4x100, you know, the longest leg is the second leg. You understand that? We use the second leg, you get the baton early and you give it off as late as possible. And you put your person with the best top end speed on the second leg. We should be doing that when in our second leg. When you're training, so that you maximize your entry to the workplace and you put everything into it. If Jamaicans put things into when they were at their creative best, as opposed to party don't bear no dividends later on in life.
Okay.
Anything from the ladies?
Yeah, that would be interesting.
Very good presentation, Dr. Semaj. I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. This is President Joan from Nation Builders Kingston. I'm sitting here thinking of one slide that you had in your presentation where you mentioned the different factors that optimizes your brain health, so to speak. So the sleep. And I'm thinking to myself, wow, that is something I know I need to work on, because I work out. That's something that I do every quarter, even with my church. I try to start it, even though everybody runs away from it. But in terms of sleep, I must say that is not my strong point. So
well,
I'm thinking.
Let me add something to that. Let me add something.
Mm-hmm.
They say ideally 7 to 8 hours a night. But when I read widely, people differ. Because I myself, rarely do I get 8 hours of sleep. I am fine. The thing is, you need to go to bed at a decent time, and so you get sufficient rest. You can't burn the candle at both ends. You need to have a set time to get to bed, and what time you get up. I get to bed, well, I hardly watch television. I hardly go out because, you know, for me to leave my yard, you know, what is more important? What benefit can I get that I don't have at home? That's the way I look at it. And if something will deprive me of my night sleep, so I want to get at least 5 hours because it really is important. Now, if you find that you have gone through 2 or 3 days of limited sleep, maybe on the 3rd day, you try to make it up. You try to get, you know, compensate. But you cannot do it indefinitely. Look, if you're studying, you're going to go through some period of sleeplessness. If you have a young baby, you're going to go through some, but it can be a permanent feature of your life because you pay the price for it.
But Doc, you just said something that you need to reconcile, because you said that you hardly go out because you know you have everything at home. But earlier I remember you criticizing some men, you know, the old men when who don't want to go anywhere. So how you reconcile that?
Well, no. Well, listen, the whole notion that I make sure, by the way, because I'm not a going out person. Anywhere my wife, here's the deal. Anywhere she wants to go, I will come with you. I will not be the one enthusiastic. Yeah, man, I want to go, I got to go. But I'll be happy you suggested it, right? Because I have a gym at home, folks, because that was the first thing coming out of COVID. I built a gym at home because I know it's an important part of my life. But there's some people who every stick knock, they're going out for the sake of going out. But the notion that, by the way, your relationship is the most critical part of your longevity. Nurturing it, supporting it. So one of the reasons why so much great divorce, because people start to drift apart. And they were drifting apart for 10, 20 years. But once the children are grown and gone, somebody said, no, let me go get a life of my own. But it's not a matter of just being in the house and not going nowhere, not doing anything. I choose very carefully where I go, when I go, what time I go. I wonder what are the parking arrangements. It's too rough in Jamaica. Many times you go park, people start to come, boss, but watch the car for you, boss. And when you come back, you say, which of the 4 men know were the one watching the car for you and all of that? No, I can't put up with that. So I have all that I need for me to be comfortable and happy at home. I choose very carefully. 2 weeks ago, I went to Jazz in the Garden. I love that kind of setting because you're not in enclosed parking area. It's a known show. It's quality entertainment. It's good all of those things. I choose very carefully how I spend my time.
Okay. All right. I think if
Doc,
there.
I'm not well.
Go ahead.
As you mentioned, Jazz in the Gardens, Doc. I must tell you something that is even superior to that is the Kiwanis Club of Kingston Grand Charity Ball that is coming up on December 15. That is so super safe, secure, and you'll love it.
Well, and I noticed that the Fab, you can't go wrong with Fab 5, huh?
Ah.
And the Pegasus, I think you say Pegasus, is that?
Yes.
No, we need things like that. Absolutely. Because, by the way, one of my commentaries recently on social media, Jamaican media caters primarily for people under 30. Now, look at the reality. People 50 and over have more spending power than people under 50. How many things you see advertised for people 50 and over?
Amen. Amen.
That's part of it why I don't go out. Because most of the things, I have no interest in drifting. I have no interest in what else? I have no interest in you name it. The entertainment packages are being prepared primarily for people under 25. But we over 50 have more spending power. So it's important for persons to package things. So when you put on something like that, that clearly you're targeting a specific market, which makes a lot of sense. But just that our media houses don't realize that, and many of the people who are promoters don't recognize that. So many of us over 50, I'm not going away to compete with my children and my grandchildren. No.
Okay. I think we're gonna wrap. Doc, this has been very good. One thing you mentioned about this muscle thing. I was aware of this, and I never did anything about it. And so maybe I should just get, start. I should start. So
and start simple, my brother. You don't start what you saw me doing there. It took me years to get to that stage. You start right where you are. And I suggest folks, my podcast, the podcast is free. It's available on Spotify. Just go to The Best Is Yet to Come or type in my name on Spotify. The Best Is Yet to Come. And you can look at list all the back episodes. And the book is available. The book has a lot more detail. I just scratched the surface of what I tried to share with you tonight. The book is available. I said it's on Amazon. It's both the audio book, the digital book, and the paperback.
Kindle.
But also the physical book is available at Brand's Bookstore, both in Kingston and in Montego Bay. And it's one of the things that we're trying to encourage people. It's one of the most important Christmas gifts for somebody, especially who has everything already. But here's something that will make them live the rest of their life in comfort and health.
Great. Okay, I think now we
Just
can ask.
ordered it.
Oh, you
just
want to
ordered
see it? Oh, you just ordered it. Okay.
On Amazon?
Amazon.ca.
Oh yeah, Amazon is beautiful, boy. Listen, Amazon is incredible. 2 days ago, I was in Florida, and I ordered something in Amazon at 10 o'clock in the morning, and at 12 o'clock it was delivered. I mean, I don't know how they do it. Books sometimes come within 1 day. Yes.
Great.
It is my pleasure, folks. As I told at the beginning, I really felt good about sharing a group like this, because you are my people. And we're talking about things that you can do from right where you are. Exercise, you walk around your yard, that's all you have. You walk around the house long enough, do some push-ups, some sit-ups, some chair squats, and so on. But get the body moving because
Clean some snow.
Shovel some snow. That helps. That helps.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay, let us. I'd like to call on David Hall, past director David Hall, who is gonna do the official thank you.
Thank you, DP Stewart. What a position to be in to thank Dr. Semaj for this awesome presentation. The best is yet to come. Thriving in retirement. I'm sure whether you are 20 or you are 50 or 60, this presentation had practical applications. You know, you took us through so much, you know, so much good anecdotes and things that we remember, you know. Our reality check, I think all of us recognize that no matter how powerful we were, that there comes a stage when nobody rises to you, you know. You gave us the and I'm talking a pure way, not some of the minds that some of the gentlemen have, right? you gave us the opportunity to think about whether it's a life of luxury, a life of misery, and where are we, a reality check, and then to come to the point that we are now in the anchor leg. But you gave us a clear strategy for that anchor leg. You know, I saw what some people responding in the chat that you say you don't do old age, and some people says, yes, me not do it either. You know, life expectancy brought us to a point where some of us have to stop now and say, we have to have 8 times of our pre-retirement salary. So I think a lot of people tonight realize they better go back to work because they're not anywhere near that, because life expectancy after 65 for us as men takes us to 83, and ladies. So hotness is forever, certainly not for us men, but your body, Dr. Semaj, gives us encouragement as men. You know, we need to relook at our productive age, and then this elite club over 70. I think a lot of us now want to, we don't get there yet, but those who are there certainly want to join it. You know, lifespan to health span, muscles, no age. And then I think you really brought it all together for us by really emphasizing that the best plan is a health plan. I mean, tremendous. I mean, we couldn't pay for this, you know, and I want to say thanks on behalf of President Newton and the directors and officers of the Kiwanis Club of Kingston, Dr. Semaj, for this excellent presentation and the time that you put into it and the passion with which you delivered it. It came across, it resonated, and I'm sure tonight it has changed lives. Thank you very much on behalf of the Kiwanis Club of Kingston. Let's all put our hands together for an excellent presentation. Thank you, sir.
Oh, let me just put up this. I should have put this up when you were speaking.
Yes, we have a
1 second.
A certificate.
Yeah.
That we want to present to you virtually. Everything is virtual, so it will be get. I don't want to DP Stew. I think he's connected to Amazon. So by the time we come off, it will be in your physically at your door. Stuart, don't let me down now, please.
No, you can send it by WhatsApp. You can send it by WhatsApp.
There you go.
Yes. So, Dr. Semaj, on behalf of Kiwanis, this certificate of appreciation that we really thank you in recognition of your contribution to this evening's presentation and our meeting. Thank you very much. God bless you, and may you live, as you say, to excel in all the areas that you want. God bless you. Thanks again.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you, DP David. And I tell you, that presentation was such that it made me forget protocol. Well, actually, I didn't forget protocol. I just lost track of the time. So I'm going to ask if somebody could move for an extension of 5 to 10 minutes for us to conclude our business this evening.
So move.
Second. Thank you. Okay, we are now going to the Sergeant at Arms, Kiwanian Zuri Johnson.
Good evening, my Kiwanis family. I'm having some connectivity issues, so I'm hoping everybody is able to hear me.
Good evening, sir.
So I'm exercising the brain, and because I don't want to forget, I'm going to go into the charges right away. So the secretary, you are going to have to hold a charge of $1,000 for the president, because after almost 2 years, adding a new member, ZHOURI, as chairman for Builders Club is just unacceptable. I don't know who that Zuri is, but the Sarge was not pleased. So, Mr. Secretary, on behalf of the president, hold a charge of $1,000. Have a great evening.
That's it, Sarge?
That's it, Sarge?
Yep.
Sarge, I just want you to remember one thing. If I didn't add an H or drop one where it belongs, then I wouldn't be a true Jamaican. So it's not by mistake, it's just by nature.
Oh.
All right. Well, let's move on now to notices and announcements and interclubbing opportunities by Secretary Leahcim Leahcim.
Thank you, President Newton. In the interest of time, we have 3 important announcements. One, on Thursday evening, the Planning Committee, looking at the annual charity Christmas ball, will be meeting at my house at 6 p.m. The host is past President Victor. On Saturday, November the 18th, we have a divisional council meeting at the Kuna Mutual Auditorium that begins at 9 o'clock with registration. Kuna Mutual, for those who don't know, that's on Manhattan Road. The members are asked to register and pay $1,500 and indicate what they want for lunch, whether chicken or fish. Just to remind you that the 3 official delegates for the club are the president, Newton Rambiel, immediate past president, Junior Stewart, and President-elect Stephen Gregg, with the alternate being the secretary, yours truly. And on Sunday, November 26th, we'll be having our divisional church service at the Hope United Church, and that begins at 8 a.m. Insofar as interclubbing opportunities, I will circulate a schedule of interclubbing opportunities for the rest of the week and early next week. At this time, President Newton, I would suggest you ask any visitors, visiting clubs, if they have any announcements or notices they would like to do. Thank you.
Thank you, DLG Willie. Before I ask, I just want to reiterate what DLG William has just said. As it relates to the DCM on Saturday, I am encouraging, I mean, we have gotten used to what happens in our club, but I'm encouraging especially the new members to register for the DCM on Saturday. It gives you the chance to mix and mingle with other Kiwanians, and you can see the breadth of what the movement is doing, not just your club. It is also a fun occasion, so I encourage you to do that. Also, I remind you about the grand charity ball that is coming up. And remember, we expect every member of the club to participate in some way or the other. And there are several ways you can participate. You can sell ads for the magazine, which is a really beautiful magazine. Oftentimes companies have it as a keepsake. You can sell tickets, you can purchase tickets, you can contribute towards the purchase of the wine. There are several routes by which you can contribute. And please remember, your service to the club and to the children that we all pledge to serve really doesn't stop at the day that you became a member of the club. It's an ongoing process. So we ask you, please just participate. At this point, I'm going to ask any other club that is online that has any announcements or interclubbing opportunities, please just feel free to open your microphone and go ahead.
President Newton.
Yes, sir.
Roy from Kiwanis Club of Toronto Caribbean.
Oh, the member of KCOK. Okay.
we are inviting you and other members that are on the Zoom, other guests, to our meeting this Friday, the 17th at 7 o'clock. And we'll be having close-up and personal membership spotlight. We have 3 members that we are going to highlight. All are welcome, and I am looking forward to see you there. Thanks.
Okay, President Roy, please just send us the coordinates and we certainly will join.
Okay, I'll send it to the
LG Willie. Okay, thank you.
And it's on the Cyber Connect.
You're on the same time.
Yes, we are on the same time.
Okay, great. We will participate, President Roy.
Thank you.
Any other announcements?
President
Good
Newton.
evening.
Hello.
Good evening, President Newton.
Okay, hi, Carleen Henry.
Yes, good evening. The Kiwanis Club of New Kingston will be having their Seafood Friday on December 1. The meal will be fried fish, steamed fish, curry shrimp, and the lobster. 3,000 for the meals. The lobster would be $4,000. That's December 1, and served with a complimentary bottle of water.
That would be at the Police Officers Club pickup.
Good evening, President Newton. This is Chairman Crystal Heaven from the Kiwanis Club of Montego Bay. This Thursday, we invite you all to our Clear Family Night, and it starts at 6 p.m. I've already forwarded the link to DLG Willie. If not, I'll re-forward it again. The theme is Pursuing Excellence. The guest speaker is Sharika Mills, and she's the past Key Club governor. We're looking forward to an exciting meeting, and we invite you all to join us. Also, we're having our Christmas cake sale. The cost is $2,600. And please feel free to send your orders with DLG Willie, and you'll send it over to me. Thank you all. And any other members from the Kiwanis Club of Montego Bay, you can always order with them. Thank you.
Good evening, fellow Kiwanis. Just interclubbing from the Kiwanis Club of Rumble, Hanover. Hi, P. Carlton Campbell. Great presentation. Thanks for the opportunity.
Not hearing you, Phoenix. We're not hearing you.
I'm sorry about that. My Wi-Fi went.
Oh, okay.
I'm back on my phone. You're hearing me loud and clear?
Hearing you now, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, we're hearing you. Go ahead, we're hearing you. If his Wi-Fi went again. So if anybody else wants to jump in.
Oh, sorry. Before DP Chris, I remember Chairman Crystal wanted to make a comment.
I think she did speak.
She did. Okay. Any other announcements? No? Okay, so we'll ask VP Chris to give us our thought of the week.
Thank you, President. DP Stu, I need
Yes.
screen sharing.
Oh, sure. Well, okay, I got you. Okay, you're good to go now.
Okay, good evening, fellow Kiwanians, visitors, and guests. Again, your thought for the week, and the thoughts are for you to just think about them, mold them in your minds during the course of the week, and see how much you can get from them. And our first thought for this week, November 14th. And it was something which was sent by Leonardo da Vinci. Learning is the only thing the mind never exhausts, never fears, or never regrets. Learning is the only thing the mind never exhausts, never fears, and never regrets. And that was from Leonardo da Vinci. And our second thought for this week. Why I'm not getting my second thought? Okay. We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. Think about it. We are what we repeatedly do. So excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. And that was from Aristotle. And those, President Newton, are my thoughts, are the thoughts for the week. Thank you. Hello, President Newton.
Am I being heard?
Barely.
No,
Barely.
you are. No, you are.
Okay. Well, at this point, I figure we have exhausted all we came to do this evening. So if there is no other matter to address, I am going to ask us to, at this point, raise our glasses and raise a toast to Kiwanis International, Jamaica land we love. At this point, at 9:03, it is now 9:03, and at this point, I will terminate this meeting of the Kiwanis Club of Kingston. Another really, really successful evening. Thank you all for coming. And remember, we meet again next week, same place, same time at 7 o'clock, Tuesday, 7 p.m. Thank you for coming. Thank you for joining us.
Okay.
VP Stewart, it is back to you, sir. My phone battery is about to die, but we have made it through. Thank you.
Hey, President Newton.
Toast to Kiwanis.
Yes. Toast to Kiwanis International.
Yeah.
Jamaica land we love.
You need to remember your gong.
Oh, I need to probably get a small gong to so that if I'm not at the secretariat, I can
That's
still
right.
bang.
Yeah. Find something to substitute so that when you terminate the meeting, you can use a gong.
I will. I certainly will make sure I do that, sir. Even if it's a tin cup. That's one of the beautiful thing about Kiwanis Club of Kingston. You know, wherever there's a hole, there's always someone to say plug it. So we will plug it with even